Morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter Confronting Marginalization, and under this chapter, we are doing Adivasi Demands and the 1989 Act. As we have seen that the Adivasi activists they are very much concerned about the right of the tribal people to occupy land that was traditionally theirs. And we know that the most important problem faced by the Adivasis is displacement. So the tribal activists, they are of the opinion that tribal lands, the lands which traditionally belong to tribals, must be with them only. If someone forcibly encroach upon that land, then he or she, the persons would be punished severely. And we have also seen that our constitution held this, that the tribal people must have their own land. No, the land which belongs to the tribal people cannot be sold or bought by non-tribal people. Still, there is need of this act because the provision of the constitution is not implemented properly. And now we see there is an activist, C.K. Janu. C.K. Janu, who is a tribal activist, sees of the opinion that जो वायलेशन हो रहा है ट्राइबल्स के फंडामेंटल राइट्स का, जो ट्राइबल को राइट्स दिया गया है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने जो राइट्स दिए हैं, वो दोज राइट्स आर बीइंग वायलेटेड. दिस वायलेशन ऑफ राइट्स ऑफ द ट्राइबल्स आर डन by the government of different states, because it is the government which give permission to the outsiders to encroach uh, in the land of the tribals, like the timber merchants, the paper mills, the mining company are given permission by the government so that they can start the this work of deforestation and all. So they are given permission by the government so that they can use the resources of the forest, they can use the tribal land. And when they are given this opportunity to work in the forest area, to use the resource of the forest, they forcibly affect tribal people from their traditional forest. Yeah, no. And many times the government also wants to set up these sanctuaries and national parks. So in that case, also the government needs to evict the tribal people from their traditional forest. So it is government which is responsible for the miseries of the tribal people. CK Janu is of the opinion. And mm, uh, here we see that the activist, tribal activist C.K. Janu is also of the opinion that if the tribals are evicted from some place and now they cannot go back to their land, they must be given compensation. Compensation can be given in the form of money, in the form of land, in the form of job. So it is very much important that they must be compensated. First of all, तो उनको हटाना ही नहीं है उनके लैंड से. अगर if they are displaced, then they must be compensated properly. Okay. And the government uh, draw up plans and policies for them to live and work elsewhere. And if they are displaced, now they are living at a new place, so the government must draw some plan and policy ki how they will live and work at this new place. So government, when the government is spending so much amount of money on building of dams, on mining, on building of industries, or other projects on land, then which the land which is taken from the labor, from the tribe. So the government should also spend a good amount of money on rehabilitation of these displaced people. डिस्प्लेस्ड पीपल जो है उनको रिहैबिलिटेट करना, फिर से उनको दूसरी जगह पे, सही जगह पे उनको बसाना, और ताकि उनको जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट करना. दीज ऑल आर द ड्यूटीज ऑफ द government. So we see that now we are in the conclusion, and we see that the constitution guarantees us right to equality. There are so many laws made by the government which ensures right to equality, but still the right to equality does not exist. So through the discussion of this chapter, you must have understood that what is written in the constitution, it is not necessarily that is implemented also. So, when such situation is there, when the constitution is is given guarantee for constitution is giving guarantee for right to equality, but right to equality is not existing in the society. So in that case, what people do, people have to fight for this. They must make effort to translate the provisions of the constitution into uh, principles that guide the action of their citizens or the leaders. है ना? So this is very important, and we see that we all have aspirations for equality, dignity, and respect, and this is not a new thing. From so many years, this desire for equality and justice and dignity was there, and this was the reason for any kind of revolution or violent action by the people. So it is very much important that people must fight for this. With this, we have completed the chapter, and now we will do the extra questions from this chapter. So, the most important question from this chapter is uh, what are the various ways through which we can confront marginalization. So, what are the various ways through which we can confront marginalization? So, we will write down the answer. The various ways through which we can confront marginalization are following. The first is the fundamental rights given in the Constitution. First is the fundamental rights given in the Constitution, like right to freedom, right to equality, right to freedom, and right to equality. Okay. Then next, your answer will be the policies of the government. The policies of the government, like the reservation policy of the government. सबके एक एक एग्जाम्पल आप देते जाएंगे. Then third में by enacting laws, by enacting laws like the SC Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. Then the fourth point is by protesting and uh, organizing movements, also we can confront marginalization. These are the four ways. ठीक है. फंडामेंटल राइट्स वो तो आपने लिख लिया. अभी फिर से हम एक बार, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चैप्टर हो जाता है. यू विल रीड द चैप्टर बट यू विल नॉट नो कि what you are actually reading, what is the purpose of all these. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन यही बनता है कि हम कैसे कन्फ्रंट कर सकते हैं, हम कैसे लड़ सकते हैं. सो द फर्स्ट इज फंडामेंटल राइट्स गिवन इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. द सेकेंड इज पॉलिसी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट लाइक रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी. थर्ड इज एनैक्टमेंट, जो भी एक्ट गवर्नमेंट बनाती है 1999 वाला एक्ट. एंड देन people they can also take initiative for this purpose. Okay, so this is your first question. And now we see the next question. So we have next question. How does the reservation policy work? So, how does the reservation policy work? You will write down. First of all, start writing. Government across India have their own list of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. No, once again I am repeating the sentence. Government across India have their own list of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward caste. Then next point is students applying for educational institutions and for post in government jobs are students applying for educational institute and for post in government jobs are expected to give their caste or tribe status in the form of caste and tribe certificate. Second point. Third point, if a particular Dalit caste or certain tribe is in the government list, then a candidate from that caste or tribe will avail the benefit of the reservation. So in this way, you can write, in this way the reservation policy works. Okay, so we have done this also, and now we have the next question. The next question is why did Ratnam refuse to perform the ritual Why did Ratnam refuse to perform the ritual? So what will be your answer? Ratnam refused to perform the ritual because the ritual was against the dignity of the Dalit people, and it was also against the right to equality which is guaranteed by our constitution. Okay, so these are the two reasons. You can write in points also. Ratnam refused to perform the ritual because of the following reason. First, it was against the dignity of the Dalit people. Second, it was against the fundamental right which is given in the constitution, like right to equality. Okay, so these are the 2 points. And then we have another question. Some families from Dalit community some families from Dalit community did not support the decision of Ratnam. Some families from Dalit community did not support the decision of Ratnam. Why was it so? ऐसा क्यों हुआ? क्यों उसकी खुद की ही कम्युनिटी के लोगों ने उसके डिसीजन को सपोर्ट नहीं किया? सो द आंसर इज some families from Dalit community did not support the decision of Ratnam because of following reason. First point आप देंगे, the people of Dalit community were fearful of angering the powerful. Second point, many Dalit people worked on their fields as daily wage laborer, and if the dominant caste decided to not call them, then how will they earn their livelihood? So, third point you can also give that they were of the opinion that the wrath of local deity would strike them. Okay, if they supported Ratnam. So, this is your answer, these 3 points. And now we see the next question. We will come to the next question. The question is, why was schedule caste and schedule Why was the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act 1989 enacted? So you can write the answer. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act 1989 enacted for the following reason. So you will give the first reason is the first point आप दोगे क्या reason थे? So the first point is, in the late 1970s and 80s, a number of Dalit groups came into being. And they refused to perform refused to perform their so-called caste duties and insisted on being treated equally. Second point आपका होगा, this resulted in more powerful caste conflicts, which included violence against the Dalits. Then you will write the third point, that in order to indicate to the government that untouchability was still being practiced, the Dalit groups demanded new laws that would list different kinds of violence which is done against the Dalits. And thus, ये 3 point हो गए आपके, and then you will write, and thus this act of 1989 came into existence. Okay, and now we have another question. Who was C.K. Janu? C.K. Janu was a tribal activist who wanted that the tribals must have their right over their traditional forest. Okay, so this is all for today, and we will do the start a new chapter, public facilities, in the next class.